Hello everybody. So I just got myself a Yale Doorman. If you haven't seen it before, you can check out the previous video here when I did the unboxing of the product. And today we are going to attempt to mount it in the door. I'm just a regular guy, I have no experience with locks whatsoever. I just thought the idea with having entering a digital code instead of a key to your house, being able to remote control it, was a pretty nice idea. So we will try to mount this following the holy book, the manual. The guy who sold it to me was very clear on read the manual or the product may not work. So I'm telling you the same thing. We are in Sweden here, so I speak Swedish. It's very good that this manual has a British translation also, because all these kinds of technical words, I know them barely in Swedish, but in English we're pretty much screwed, so I can just read them here and it sounds like I know shit. So the first thing is the trigger bolt. You need to decide the direction of your door will decide which way this should be mounted. When you close your door, it's supposed to go inside like this, and this is in the wrong way for our door. So the first thing we're going to do is to switch the direction of this one. How to do this is using this little tool here. I'm gonna use a wrench key. Gonna push this one in, spin it 2 turns, take it out, flip it, put it back in, 2 turns the other way to tighten it. Step 1 accomplished. We have switched the trigger bolt. Next thing is installing the lock in the door. Before you start working, always make sure that you are dressed properly for the occasion. We are in Sweden, so it's foppatofflor, a fleece and a thick pair of socks, because it's only like 3 degrees Celsius at the moment. Also, if you have a family, you might want to consider not keeping the door open too much, unless you want a divorce. Let's remove the lock first. The old lock. Okay, so we have just come across the first obstacle of today. Since I never removed the lock before, I'm not sure how to get the lock out of the door. I have removed these 2 screws here, but it seems to be kind of stuck. Maybe it's paint, maybe it's an old door, I don't know. So at this moment I don't know what I'm doing. I could Google it or something, but I'm gonna try a bit first. Tricky. Yeah, it's working. Okay, so I figured it out. You want this whole locking system to go that way. Take a screwdriver and a hammer and just gently hammer it that way. It's starting to move that way, making you being able to pull it out. So that's the first thing I figured out. The old lock is history. Before doing anything more stupid, let's check the manual again. Okay, so this part right here, it's really important, because you're going to put the lock in the door like this, and it's very important that you have the drill protection so that nobody can drill into the lock from the outside. Well, this is just a thin piece of steel. Also, before you mount this, you need to put the cable here in the socket. I almost forgot it. Okay, so there we go with the cable in the socket. Looking good. Putting the steel plate on the outside. Here comes the moment of truth. So we are about to stick the lock in the door. This cable should go in here on the upper side and to the inside of the door. So let's do that first. Next problem we have right here is that the screws on this new lock makes it wider, so it doesn't quite fit. I might have to remove some of the door to make it fit. So I will have to remove some of the wood here to make sure that these screws here and here, which was not existing on the old lock, makes enough space so that I can mount it. I'm not really sure how much of a tight fit this is supposed to be, but this is extremely tight fit. Next problem is that this protection steel plate here, it's so tight that it jumps off, but you need to keep it ahead and in place for the whole lock to go in. So I will use some kind of tool to hold it in place while I knock it in. Also, you can do like this. This is working great. I can hold the plate in and hammer it. Doing the same thing down here at the bottom. Okay, so here you can see the whole problem why it goes so slow. You see right there is the top of that, the head of the screw, which is carving through the wood here all the way in. That's why it goes, that's why it's so hard to get it in place. I just made a decision to back out again and remove some more wood here before moving the lock back in place, because it was way too tight. So the correct way to remove the wood would have been with like a Dremel tool or something. I don't have that, so we're going in old-fashioned style. Okay, so now I think we have a much more clearer passage here for the top of the screw. Also, while you're at it, make sure that you remove any other piece of wood that's in the way here, so that you have a free passage. Another tip here towards the end is to take a small screwdriver and stick through the steel plate, making sure it is aligned with the rest of the lock, so that the steel plate does not move the wrong way while you move it in place. I'm just gonna use some screws to draw it into place, the last part. So I think that the lock is in the correct place. It took me like hours to move this up, move this out and up, and playing around with it. So we're gonna change the striking plate here. When the strike plate is mounted, let's pray to the Lord that it will fit with the positions of this one. Hope so. The front side is on. I have put the handles in the correct position and mounted the screws. Follow the manual. This plate here is in place. Just connected the two screws here. There was a lot of problem getting here, but hopefully everything is gonna work now. Strike plate is in place. So let's start with this end. So these screws are for 64mm standard doors. I have a very old door which causes me all the problems, so I am going to have to cut the screw off and make it shorter. And to make this happen, I'm using this. I would say that the moment that you have all these 4 screws in play and you can start tightening it, everything starts looking good here on the other side. That's the moment you feel that there is hope for the future with this installation. Probably this one is going to be too long also, so you have to cut it off. Follow the manual how to do this. Ah, shit! Not so easy. I'm almost done here. I've been feeling all day this is not my day. Broke a cable, had some trouble, and now it's snowing. It's snowing. Can you see the green cable that is broken? Yeah, I found the problem. The problem was me. All the time it was me smashing in with a hammer, hammering in, breaking those cables. It was all me. At least I got as far that I have a working door. Yeah, so I can move inside now. This was a complete failure of mounting this thing. I'm gonna sit down and explain what went wrong in just a bit. This whole mounting experience with the Yale Doorman was one of the worst projects I've done in a while. I was out there for 6 hours. It can break the mental health of any man. But it's no use complaining. I gotta get a new cable tomorrow and I can mount it later in the week. Now that I know how to do it, it will go faster for sure. This is day 2 and we have a successful mounting. I broke the old cable, but now I got a new one. So, lesson I learned is the following. This is a very old door. The space above the chest here, the space right here was not big enough. So I had to like carve through the door a lot to fit it better and to make sure that the connector cable didn't break when I put it in. But now everything works perfectly. Close the door, press the star, and you're locked out of the house. Let's hope I can enter. It's working. So it's all hooked up with the alarm. I get a message when somebody unlocks the door on my Apple Watch, so really nice. That's the review of the mounting of the Yale Doorman. Make sure you have enough space in the door before you start installing it. Make sure you carve a lot of wood out before you start smashing it in and clips off a cable like I did. Hope you learned something. I'll get back to you in a few months when I have tested this product out more. Tell you good stuff or bad stuff with it. See ya!